Joining me now from Montreal, Moshe. He's an economics professor at Concordia University. So what do you make of this news, Moshe, this re-announcement that the reopenings are going to happen as originally planned?
Well, I mean, inherently, there's a trade-off between health and economics, right? So this has always been an issue of epidemiology versus the economy. And so I think what's happening right now is that the numbers are suggesting that in that trade-off, let's lean more towards the economy and get that revived than worrying about the health consequences.
How do you think this is going to go over in Montreal?
I think people are going to be thrilled. I was out this weekend walking around the canal, and you could see that I think people have had enough. Everyone was out enjoying the nice weather. Most people were socially safe distanced, and some not so much. I think the fact that when you're getting the all clear, that I think people are going to enjoy this. The issue, of course, as they said in the presser, there's don't let your guard down and don't think just because businesses can open that you don't have to worry about the virus coming back.
Now, is this the real all clear? And I ask that because, of course, originally the government had said May the 25th. Then they walked that back. Now it's back happening again. It's been re-greenlit, so to speak. I wonder whether you think businesses are going to be ready to reopen on the 25th, or do you think some of them are going to say, you know what, let's just wait a couple more weeks to make sure that this is all going to happen the way they're saying it's going to happen?
Well, I think the thing to interpret here is that May 25 is just that you are allowed to open, whether you choose to do that, right? There's nothing requiring that. I think, again, that each business has to weigh kind of the health risk against the economic risk to their business. But, I think that there's still a whole bunch of unresolved issues in terms of things like liability and, what happens if somebody in the store ends up contracting the virus and, who's responsible for that? Is that the store's fault or not? And, some stores that are really kind of on that borderline might say, you know what, we might just hang on a couple of weeks more and really make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we could really damage ourselves financially.
What sort of demand do you think we're going to see, Moshe, from, the public when these stores reopen?
Tepid. I think the fact is that while a lot of people are receiving some form of government assistance right now, or the people that manage to keep their jobs are still receiving a paycheck, the fact is that we are hearing about things like a second wave coming in the fall and that there's still, a lot of risk out there. And I think what's going to happen is that at some point, people are going to be much more inclined to save whatever money they're earning rather than spend it. Because they might not be sure that that government program is going to be there if we are locked down again at the end of the summer, or if those programs aren't going to be cut off before their time.
Yeah, we can certainly understand that when it comes to big ticket items, people might decide to put all that on hold. I'm also curious about some of the messaging from the government. So they're saying, all right, stores will be allowed to reopen if they have an exterior door, but we don't want everybody rushing to the stores. So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, I heard that too and just kind of raised an eyebrow. I mean, you can only imagine that if you have an exterior door and so you ask everybody to line up or you control the number of people that come into your businesses, you are creating a problem out on the sidewalks then where everyone's going to have to line up to get access to a store, stay 2 meters apart from each other, but also make sure that you're staying 2 meters apart from everybody else who's in another line to go into another store. So I'm not sure that the total implications have been thought through here, but I think they also kind of hedge by saying we're going to have to wait and see how things play out.
Yeah, and it's also tricky for the businesses because, they're being told, we don't want people rushing to your store. Please don't have blowout sales to bring people to your store in which you could try to perhaps, get rid of some of your merchandise or recoup the money you lost in March and April and much of May. So again, for the businesses, they're kind of left a little bit in limbo too. In other words, they reopen, but, what sort of incentives are they allowed to use to get people back into their store? Are they allowed to do any sales or not? I mean, is that irresponsible socially? A lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, and when a lot of them are facing some sort of kind of existential threat to their business surviving, it's really hard to not engage in those sorts of sales or those sorts of enticements when the possibility is that the store next to you is engaging that. So it's kind of like a little bit of a game theory sort of exercise here that I'll behave myself if you do, but if I feel that you're not, then I might not either. And so it's going to be really hard to enforce that as well and find where's that line between good business and unsafe health practice.
Good to have you back, Moshe. We appreciate this today.
Anytime.
Moshe joining us from Montreal. Let's